Greed is the biggest enemy of success. You know, the great investor, Warren Buffett, lives by this creed. He is very conservative in his investments, but he also has profound wisdom when it comes to decision making in something as volatile as the stock markets. He's been able to tide over all the financial crises that the stock markets have offered over the last few decades, reflecting back to us. Greed is the enemy of success. Non-greed is the ally, the friend to success. In Indian mythology, in fact in world mythology, there are several stories which talk about a person asking for wishes from God. I'd like to share some of these stories with you so that we can re-emphasize this lesson. A man one day has God appearing before him. He's praying very hard to God and he says, I want my wishes to be fulfilled. God comes down and God says, yes, now all your wishes will be fulfilled. And God gives him a beautiful seashell. And God says, whenever you want something, just whisper into this seashell. And the seashell will give you whatever you want. Now the man is so excited. He tries it. He asks for a palace. He whispers it into the seashell. And the palace appears before him. He asks for money. It comes to him. One day, a poor sannyasi is walking past the palace. And he looks up at the palace and he finds that man there. And from his bag, he takes out a big seashell. So this rich man is interested. Why is this monk taking out this big seashell? He calls him in. Come, what is this seashell? I have one seashell of my own. So the monk says, this seashell is very, very important because I know you have one small seashell. This seashell is more special. It will give you double of your small seashell. So the man is very excited. He says, why not take this seashell from this man, from this monk? He asks for it. He says, see, you are a poor monk. You don't need the seashell. Give it to me. In return, I'll give you my small seashell. So the monk smiles. He takes the small seashell and goes. Now this man has the big seashell. And he whispers into it. He says, I want 1 crore of rupees. The seashell talks back and says, why 1 crore? I give double. Ask for 2 crores. I'll give double of that. The man keeps asking. And whatever he asks, the seashell responds, saying that, why this? I'll give you double. I'll give you double. I'll give you double. Leading to the eventual end. Actually, it's an endless story because nothing ever happens. The man had it all. His wish was being fulfilled, but he chose out of his greed something bigger, something which he thought more significant, in the hope of doubling it. And that doubling never materialized. Don't you think it's a sad reflection on our stock market? On the way we invest, on the way we make our financial decisions, consistently and greedily asking for more and more, forgetting the wisdom that is embedded in these stories. There's another story from Indian mythology. It's about God appearing before man. Again, this man had undergone great penance. God says, I'll grant you 3 wishes. So the first wish, this man, he immediately wants one of his enemies dead. So he wishes, I want that enemy to die. And God says, wish granted. The enemy dies. After a few days, this man starts feeling guilty. He says, he goes back to God and he says, no. I think you should bring him alive. So God says, fine. He brings him alive. 2 wishes gone. So God says, be careful, the 3rd wish, what you're wishing for. Think about it. So this man thinks hard about the 3rd wish. So after much searching, after consulting with several wise people, he still doesn't have an answer how to utilize his 3rd wish. So he goes to God and he says, you tell me, I don't know what to do. What is that 3rd wish I should ask for? God smiles and says, ask for only one thing. Ask that you don't keep wishing out of greed. Ask for not being greedy. Because whatsoever you wish today, tomorrow you'll be wishing something else. Wishful thinking, greedy thinking is the bane of human problems, leading to violence, unrest, lack of sustainable good relationships, wanting more, wanting double, wanting the opposite of what you wanted yesterday. Kill the enemy, bring him alive, all these contradictions. Better to be in a state of non-wishful thinking. Positive thinking, yes, but non-wishful, non-greedy. The key to conservative, good growth in organizations which have withstood the test of time, the difference between those organizations which have been able to sustain themselves, those leaders who have gone on to create better lives for themselves and for their people. It's a key, this non-greed. As opposed to those people, those leaders who have wanted it all and ended in a disaster.